Hello, IDME listeners. This is Holly Fraser, the ambassador for reading, writing, and literature. Today we're speaking with Annabelle Jimenez, bookstagrammer and marketing assistant at Gallery Books. So, welcome, Annabelle. Tell us a bit about who you are and what you do.
Well, my name is Annabelle Jimenez, and I guess you can say I'm a bookstagrammer, and I work in publishing now. It's just a book community on Instagram.
So
it's pretty simple.
When did you start your bookstagram, and what inspired you to start it?
2015, around there. And I started, at first I did YouTube videos. I started YouTube videos in 2012, and I did that for a while, but it just became too much. With school, it became too much to edit videos, film, and I had to do it all on my own. And it was just too time consuming. So I was just like, how can I still talk about book, but somewhere else that's not YouTube, and somewhere where it'll be faster and quicker for me to, I guess, talk to people about books. So I was like, okay, well, I'm on Instagram. Let me just post what I would post as a video on Instagram. And this was back when Bookstagram wasn't a thing yet. No one called it Bookstagram. And I just started posting my photos and talking about the books that I was reading or the books that I was buying. And after a while, community grew and grew and grew, and Bookstagram became a thing.
And what made you do it? What made you start it? Have you just always been a big reader, or did you see any people out there doing it that inspired you?
Yeah, so when I started doing YouTube, and it was also under In the Book Corner, my Bookstagram is In the Book Corner, and so was my YouTube. So I started the YouTube page in 2012, and it was one summer day. I was just like, you know what, I see and I watch these videos of people talking about books, and I was just like, I can do that too. Why not? Like, I have a camera, I have books, I have a computer to edit the videos. So I was just like, let me try this. Who was I watching? I think I've forgotten their names now, but I remember Priscilla from YouTube. If anyone knows Priscilla from BookTube back in 2012, they're gonna know who I'm talking about. The Readables. I think that was her YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Her YouTube page. So I was just like, you know what? Why not? Let me start making this video. They were really bad. They sucked. They were so horrible, but I started getting used to it, and I guess that's really what made me start doing it. I was always a big reader. I would read a lot, and I wanted to talk to people about the books I was reading. And the only person that I knew in real life was my best friend. She was the only other person that I knew that actually read books also. And I kind of just wanted to venture out and see who else was reading and what were they reading.
And are there any challenges you faced along the way? And how did you kind of grow your community?
The biggest challenge was to find the time to make videos or to take photos. I guess just the time to create content. People see it online and they're just like, oh, you might think that it just happened, but a lot of thought goes into it. And I guess another challenge would be, for me, there was always this one thing that kind of, I guess, put me down, or I felt as a challenge to increase my following. And it was always when I kind of saw some other bookstagrammer or YouTuber getting so many followers, and just seeing them grow bigger and bigger. And I would always kind of question myself, why isn't this happening to me? Why am I not growing as big as them? Or maybe they just started bookstagramming a few months ago, and how did they get so big? So it was always just kind of a challenge to keep doing it. But I would just tell myself, I'm doing this for me. This is what I love, and I can't really see myself not doing it. So there was no other choice. Even if my following grew or not, I still needed to do it.
Yeah.
Because I have to talk about books,
Did you find it challenging reading books? Like, how many books did you read a month? I would find that the most challenging. Like, I'm a slow reader.
Well, that's my challenge right now, actually. When I first started booktubing and bookstagramming, I read a lot of books. I read maybe, I want to say somewhere around 6 to 10 books a month. Oh. And yeah, let's see, maybe yearly around like 100, 115 books. Mm-hmm. But now, now I have absolutely no time, it feels like, to read books. And I would read maybe 2 a month, like 3 a month, and it's horrible. I hate it. I want to be reading. But yeah, I guess that is a big challenge.
Where do you spend most of your time reading? On the subway, or in bed, or like cafes?
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't do a lot of reading in cafes. Like, a lot of my photos will be at coffee shops, but that's not where I get my reading done. I'm very easily distracted. So,
same.
Yeah. Like, I can't sit there and, sip my coffee because I'll look out the window, or I'm just looking around. I can't eat my avocado toast and read at the same time. Like, it's not happening, I used to read a lot in bed. That's probably my favorite place to read. I love reading in bed, but now I do most of my reading on my commute to work and from work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what have you most enjoyed about starting your Bookstagram?
I would say, I think the most rewarding part is that, I guess, it's just meeting so many other book people, And especially, I think, around the last year, I think it started when we first did that, like, panel together. Ever since then, do you remember? Mm-hmm. Ever since then, I feel like I've met so many people from New York that also do Bookstagram, and it has been amazing getting to meet these people, being friends with them, getting to know them, and to hang out and grab coffee and talk about books. I think that has been the biggest and most rewarding part, because at the end of the day, that's kind of why I started my booktube and my Bookstagram. It was to be able to talk to people and be friends with other people who love books as much as I do.
You definitely get all the good Bookstagram event invites now, I've noticed.
Yeah, I do. And they're kind of a lot, but there are a ton of events in New York City. So I think that one of the biggest things about that is living here in New York City is such a plus, because there are so many events here. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't want to sound braggy, but I have been getting a lot of invites lately. Yeah,
that's really cool. So how do you, as well as, I guess, selecting events you go to, how do you select the books that you talk about on your Bookstagram?
Yeah, I feel like this is a question that I've been asked a lot recently. The books that, well, now there's this whole thing where publishers contact Bookstagrammers and they partner with them and they want to work with them. Like, Bookstagram has gotten to be such a big and huge platform for marketing books that there's like a ton of publishing houses that want to send their books out to Bookstagrammers. And I guess the way that I choose the books are if they sound interesting to me, if I think that I want to read them. Would I ever want to read that book? If I think yes, then I will either request it or tell them yes to send it my way. But usually when I post pictures of books, it's usually books that I'm reading. I always want to be honest in my Bookstagram or how I feel about a book. So usually it's a book that I'm currently reading, and if not, it'll be like a haul or something. All the books that I do get are books that I eventually want to read. I just have to pick up the pace and read faster.
So is it mainly, do you post more opinions on the books or kind of synopsis as you read along? For people who don't kind of follow you on Instagram, like, how does it work?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't like posting just like a synopsis of a book, because to me, if I want to know a synopsis of a book, I'll just Google it, or I'll go on Goodreads or go to the publisher's page. But when I post on it's either books that I'm really excited about or books that I'm reading. And if I am reading them, then you'll know how I feel about them. So that's really what it is. That's really what my page is like. Either that or like book events that I go to, or a ton of books that I have on my TBR, things like that. I try to be more personal with my page.
Yeah. So big question, but what are your favorite books? I would say what's your favorite book, but I feel like that's a really hard question. But do you have some top reads that you would recommend?
Yeah, that is such a hard question. I'm looking at my bookshelves right now, and well, the first one that comes to my mind is Homegoing by Yagyasi. Have you read that one?
So good.
So good. I read it earlier this year. I cannot stop thinking about it. I love it so much. It is a masterpiece. Like the cover says that it's a masterpiece, but like it's a masterpiece. I really love that one. I also really like Americana.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I tend to read a lot of like African American lit.
Yeah.
And that started from a course that I took, a college course that I took, and it was African American literature. And ever since then, that's kind of what I gravitate towards more now. But yeah, I guess those two are really like my top favorite books at the moment.
Yeah, they're some great books, some of my favorites too.
Oh, yay.
So
Awesome.
outside of Bookstagram, you now work in publishing.
Yes.
Do you think your Bookstagram helped you get your job in publishing? And
yes.
And how did that help you? Do loads of marketers in publishing have their own Instagrams as well?
Okay, well, to answer the first question, absolutely. Bookstagram helped me get the job in publishing, and I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. Sometimes I can't even really believe it. Working in publishing is something that I've always wanted to do, and when I started my Bookstagram, I didn't really think that it would help me, but I guess in a way I hoped that maybe it'll bring me somewhere close. So the way that I started working at Gallery Books, was when I went to that panel with you. You know, Kelsey from Touchstone, she kind of gathered us, but we remained like really close friends. And when I finished school, I was like, hey girl, like I'm really looking for a job and I would love for it to be in publishing. So she kind of got me an in, and then the girls from the marketing team at Gallery, they were actually at the Pamela event we had. They were there, and they were like, oh, I remember this girl. And that's just kind of how it started. And I went in for an interview, for 2 interviews, and yeah, and it worked out, and I got the job, and I was amazed.
Amazing. So what do you do day to day? What's your day-to-day job look like at Gallery Books?
I'm a marketing assistant at Gallery.
Mm-hmm.
So aside from doing a ton of assistant work, a ton of like boring assistant work, we kind of work a lot as a team. I know that at some publishing houses, you get kind of like certain books that you will work on, but at Gallery, we just kind of all work on all of them. But I obviously handle the Instagram side of things and social media.
So do you now reach out to Instagrammers?
I do. When I got to Gallery, I actually started Gallery's Bookstagram Ambassador program. Yeah, I have my set of like Bookstagrammers that I reach out to. And it's kind of, it's very surreal to kind of be on the other end of things. Yeah. But it's cool because I kind of already know what's going on. You know, I'm not coming to it as an outsider.
So how does it work from your perspective? Do you send titles, like a bunch of titles to the Bookstagrammers, or you select titles for them? Do you give them away for free? Like, how does the system work?
It's a list. Monthly, it's a list of books. They all get to choose whichever books. They're free. We send them to them. The only thing that we ask is that, you know, that they tag us and that they post that it's free, or that it was sent to them, or that it's a gift or whatever. But we send them, and we hope that they post.
And are there different scales of Bookstagrammers in publishing now, where some will be paid, or do you pay no Bookstagrammers? Is everyone doing it out the kindness of their heart, or is it a different kind of level per person?
The bookstagrammers that I've reached out to are never paid. So I don't know if that's a thing that's going on with other publishing houses, but at Gallery, they're not paid. We send them books in exchange for their posts.
So what advice could you give to people who want to become a bookstagrammer? How should they start?
See, I would say just to go for it. I would say go for it, take photos, and I guess the most important thing is to be interactive. Interact, like a ton of photos, comment, to have conversations with people, get to know people. I think that's really the most important thing.
Do you have any tips about breaking into the publishing industry? Or would that be start with a bookstagram and then...
Right, like follow those steps.
Yeah.
Exactly those steps. I'm not sure because I could say to do exactly what I did, but again, I don't know if that would work for everyone, you know? Like, I don't want to be like, oh yeah, start a bookstagram and then you'll be able to work. I find myself to be really lucky that happened that way.
Did you always, was that your goal? You always dreamed of working in publishing?
Yeah, I've always dreamed of it. I went to school I was an English major. I did English lit. You know, a lot of people were like, why are you studying English at college? Like, maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you should go somewhere that's gonna get you a job and pay you money. And I was just like, but this is the only thing I love. So I kind of just went with my heart and hoped that it would work out. And when it did, I almost couldn't believe it.
Is it in any way like the TV show Younger? Have you watched that?
Yes, I love Younger so much.
Me too.
Is it like Younger? I wouldn't say it's like Younger.
Do you have a slush pile?
No, we do not. What's funny is that Gallery actually published Younger, the book.
No, that's great.
Yes, and like, what year was it? Like 2006 or 2005? Yeah, Gallery was the one that published the book.
Oh, wow. So do you get to read unpublished books, like manuscripts at work, or is that saved for like the editors?
Yes, those are passed around frequently. We'll get like the bound manuscripts, and then we'll get like the galleys or the arcs, and then the finished books. So usually everyone, the entire staff at Gallery, would get like a bound manuscript way months and months before the book is even released. And I have those piled up on my desk, but it's very hard to read them when there's a ton of like other books that are more urgent, I suppose. But don't tell anyone at Gallery that. Well, now this is going live, so don't know.
Don't let anyone at Gallery hear this. She reads them all.
Yeah.
One different question is, if you could meet anyone in the world, who would you like to meet?
Oh gosh, you know, I always dread this question because I never ever have an answer for it. I think I'm probably the only person on earth that doesn't know who they would want to talk to or meet. I just don't have that person. I don't have that person. I was literally sitting here thinking, who could it be?
Not even Beyonce?
You know, that's the thing, that I feel like it's
Oprah.
such a dream to meet Beyonce that my brain won't even go there. It won't even like imagine it. Yeah.
So there's no like author you would really love to meet in person. Have you met Chimamanda Ngozi?
You took the words out of my mouth. Because I was gonna say Chimamanda. Yeah, I would love to meet her. Yeah, I think she's probably the person I would love to meet.
Yeah. What would you ask her? What would you like to ask her if you met her?
I don't even know. I think I would be so like starstruck. I think I would just want to hear her talk about anything and like everything.
Just read her book to you like a bedtime story.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yes.
Amazing. Well, thank you. It was really great chatting.
Oh, thank you.
And I think that's all of my questions. Unless you have anything left to say, any inspiring bookstagram words.
I would say just go for it. If you love books and you want to find other people who love books, and trust me, there are a lot out there. Just go and do it.
And follow Annabelle.
Yes, follow me and in the book corner.